How has your week been?
Good. I didn't really do anything other than go see Furiosa. That was about it. That was my everything I've done in the past week.
That's it?
Yep.
I hear Furiosa is good.
Yes.
But we're not supposed to like movies in the theaters anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a rumor. I don't know. But I went to see it. I'll tell anybody who's going to watch Furiosa, if you're expecting Mad Max Fury Road good, you're going to be disappointed. But if you're looking just like it's a really good movie, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, Fury Road's way better.
Yeah, Fury Road was like a different level.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem, because I went to see it with Josh, the art guy, not young Josh who works at the comic shop. He was like, okay, he saw Fury Road and he described it as Fury Road starts at a 10 and like never dips below a 9 for the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just constant action. Where Furiosa starts out hot, then like it's her captured as like her being taken away as a kid. That's an intense scene, chase scene. And then it goes into, all right, here's her like living her young life until we get to see Furiosa. And that's good, but it's like 9, then dips into a 6 for action, 5, plot development, character development, and then it slowly ramps up to like, like big things that you would expect from a Mad Max movie,
Mm-hmm.
But my only gripes with the movie are it's 2.5 hours.
All right.
Which is a bit too long, but it never drags. George Miller kind of knows what he's doing. And I remember hearing like everybody was like, "Oh, Charlize Theron," and who played Mad Max? Bane.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. They're like they fought constantly on the set, and then like the girl who played Catwoman from the newest Batman movies, and she always says like, "We were stuck out in the desert for 6 to 8 months. Like that'll grate on anybody." Where this movie, if they shot any of it in the desert, I couldn't see it. Like it was 90% green screen as far as I was concerned.
Gotcha.
And a lot of like at times where the car chases and cars in Fury Road were practical. These, they had like practical cars, but I feel like they were never driving. Do you know what I mean? Like going fast. They were like just sitting in a film studio with the green screen behind it, because they were kind of like, all right, we can. Other than Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron, we could lose anybody and it'd be fine. In this, like we have Thor, we have Anna Taylor-Joy, or whatever her name is. It's like we have marquee names in this. We're not dragging them out into the desert, and we're not getting them killed. So I don't know.
I think you got to die for your craft somehow.
If it's Kraft mac and cheese, yes.
There you go.
But yeah, so overall, and the only kind of thing that kind of weirded me out was Chris Hemsworth used like, this is my Joe thing. He had a prosthetic nose on.
Ah, yes.
So he had like a huge nose, and it kept taking me out of it because I was like, oh, okay, his nose. But otherwise, pretty good. And he was... The thing that I liked about Hemsworth's character in Furiosa was that he was a leader of a warlord group, as is all the bad guys in these movies. And he was completely inept, and he just kept failing upwards. And I really like that, because everybody like from, all the guys, every villain in the movie was like competent and did things, and like it was a foil for the main character. This was, despite himself, he kept doing better.
Mm-hmm.
Fun movie. I highly recommend.
Yeah. I gotta make the family watch Fury Road.
Fury Road, like I said, is a mic, a remote dropper. Every time I see it, like if it's on anywhere in the film, like that is like Goodfellas. It's just like doesn't matter where it is. I'll catch up to the plot anytime.
That was one of the ones where I still worked at an office, and it was one of those days during the summer. I think it came out like around like May, June-ish, and I had some time to kill, and it was right down the road from the big movie theater on like a Thursday.
Right.
So I went to go see it, and it was like an empty theater. Got to see it. Like, obviously, I think it would have been more rocking with like a whole crowd of people. But it was one of those things where, like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to see this movie, and I'm hearing so much good stuff about it. I wasn't spoiled, you know. There's no way you could, you know, spoil a movie like that.
That was kind of not that it was an afterthought for us one night, a bunch of us, because I call that the summer of, like, that was the summer of Avengers: Age of Ultron. Mm-hmm. Then I saw one of my favorite movies of all times, Ex Machina by Alex Garland, as I've talked about him when I saw Civil War a few weeks ago. And that was such a low-key independent movie with like 3 people. Then I watched Fury Road, and it was like the perfect hammock of movies because it was like 2 tentpole, like, oh my God, these are so big and fun and over the top. And then like in between them was like the heartbreaking little indie, like, AI horror movie, and I was like, yeah, it's times like these that I really enjoy the cinema, Joe, you know?
Yes. Well, hopefully the cinema still exists, you know, 5-10 years from now. Like, luckily we're not in an area where like those are going out of business.
Right.
You know, I hear a lot of other places, a lot of other bigger cities than us, you know, they're closing down a lot of theaters, but like we have more theaters, you know.
Yeah, we have a bunch like where they are, and I will say it was weird because it was a Saturday at 7:00, and I remember, like, Joe, we're older. I remember pulling into movie theaters like the Cinemark or any of the other ones on a Saturday night at 7:00, and the parking lot being filled for whatever, because that was the thing to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you had to park in the back by like where the Johnny Rockets was or whatever's there now. You know?
And now I must be in the front row on Saturday. And I mean, granted, Joe, I don't know if you know this, May isn't the summer months, the summer time for movies, blockbusters. But this was, you know, it's the end of May going into June. And I was like, there's nobody here. You know, it's shocking. We were in the small, like, we didn't do the XD. I will say that. We did the tiniest theater in the county kind of a deal. And, it was, you know, us and like, I want to say 9-10 other people for the cheaper movie. And I will say it was nice because everybody was quiet, or it was a really loud movie. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The Mad Max movies tend to skew loud. So it was a nice crowd.
Right. And I'll throw this out here. You know, we're talking about movies. We're talking about theaters, cinema, whatever. The most recent Red Letter Media video, the Mr. Plinkett guys, they did a video kind of talking about the state of movies in the theaters. And, you know, usually their stuff is very lighthearted and fun, and there is some jokes and whatnot in there. But it's like an actual like critical analysis of like why, you know, people don't go to the movies anymore. And like the easy answer is COVID. And then people just got in the habit of not going to the movies and waiting and so on and so forth. But they get into some like real serious discussion of like how the tide could turn.
Yeah, I mean, I always like juggle 4 things. Like you said, COVID, for me, the price of a ticket to take a family to buy. Which you're
typically doing. You're usually finding a family to bring with you.
Yes, that's what I do. I'm like, hey, family, would you like to, at gunpoint, go see a movie with me? But no, like the price of the tickets went up. Then you have, like you said, the turnaround time on a lot of stuff going to streaming is quick anymore.
Yeah.
And jag-offs in the theater. Like, people, and like I've discussed it every time, like this movie, and then when I went to see Civil War was really good, and I'm trying to think of the last couple of movies, but when I saw Godzilla Kong, that was the one with the 2 kids who thought Instagram was more interesting than the movie next to me, talking about drag racing car. It was like, this is what it is. People just getting up, walking around, and talk like they think they're at fucking home, and it just drives me absolutely nuts. Like, I could understand. Like I'll just say I could understand if somebody brought a frying pan to a film and just started canobbling people. But that's as far as I'll go, though.
Was the Ezra Miller Flash movie this year?
That might have been. I don't know if that was the end of last year or the beginning. I want to say that was last year.
You're right. Okay, so you are right. It was last year. But I was going to say, because I remember going to see that. And, obviously, it couldn't wrangle the family to go see it. So I had to go see it here at my dirt theater that's by me.
Right.
At, whatever the 7 o'clock show on a Monday was.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other people in the theater with me at that time on a Monday were two people who very clearly thought they were going to be the only people in that movie.
Oh, okay.
And so they had proceeded to smoke up as they were coming into the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And then they saw me and they're like, oh, shit. Right?
And you're like, I don't care. Go ahead. I don't get drug tested at work.
Listen, I don't talk to anybody. When I'm alone, especially, I don't talk to people. Right?
See, I thought you were going down another route with it. That they thought they were going to be, and I'm doing air quotes here, alone in the theater.
Oh, yes.
I was because I'd be like, go right ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if kids do that anymore. I don't know.
Well, I would ask for ID and then say you're both over 18. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So we have a busy weekend going on here. I know I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that we're getting the tub redone from the local people that fit you with a new bathtub.
Right.
So one of the things that we had to do is we had to get the little bit of tile that was around the edge of where our tub was, because everything kind of fits in there directly.
Mm-hmm.
So this past Thursday, as my wife started doing that, she's like, if we're going to get rid of this little bit of tile, why don't we get rid of a little bit more of the tile? And then a little bit more became a little bit more. And then as of today, there is no more tile in our bathroom. On the walls.
So what's on your floor?
Well, okay, floor we're going to get to. So the walls we don't have.
This is tile on the wall. I'm thinking floor tile, but okay.
Well, right, we'll get to the floor tile.
Gotcha.
Tile on the wall was done. So she does that Thursday. She started that Thursday. I was in there helping her on Saturday, but I with whatever my asthma is, when we were chipping off the tile that's probably been on those walls for about 50 years, right, I was having trouble breathing and my chest was hurting.
Right.
So I had to go outside, get some fresh air. The next couple of days when I was in there with her doing it, I had the old school COVID masks on, talking about COVID, right? And I feel fine doing those. The entire vanity where the sink and everything is getting pulled out next.
Okay.
So the bath fitter people are going to be coming within the next 2 to 4 weeks. So there's going to be a period of time where that bathroom is just empty.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to do all of that stuff because the tile that's in there, and again, I tried to explain this to people, but it's difficult to explain. So first of all, when we moved in this house almost 20 years ago, it was a carpeted bathroom.
That's disgusting, by the way.
That's disgusting, right? The only thing that would have been worse if it was shag carpeting, but it was carpeted. So that gets all pulled up, right? And underneath that is tile. But it's these little tiny tiles that are maybe 1 inch by 2 inch rectangles.
They're almost like the Grecian tiles, I guess. But instead of square, they're rectangles.
Yes.
I know.
But those in and of themselves are big, giant, whatever, a normal 3x3 square of a tile would be.
So what you're saying is they're stuck to I'm just going to say a big piece of paper.
Yes.
And there's I'm giving a number, 20 of them on a square. When they did my grandmother's bathroom, she couldn't walk, so we just ripped everything out.
Yeah.
And then retiled the bathroom so it all sloped to a drain. So she didn't have a shower like a bathtub. She just had the whole room was one big shower.
Okay.
And when we put those in, they were cool because they would bend any way you want them. They were really cool.
Right. So we've had 2 different people come and look at it and say, it looks like it's thin. It's concrete underneath it. So we're just going to get those floating tiles. We've talked about this on the show before, right. But we're going to get so the tiles off the walls, The vanity's coming out next, probably Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go and shop and price those tiles so everything's ready to go when the bath people come in, if they decide to come in early. But it's just like for the next like 2 to 4 weeks, our bathroom is going to be shambles.
Right. Now, when you're going to do the floor, do you have to take up the toilet?
Yes.
Right, because you have to get everything out that's underneath there.
So...
Right.
So the plan is my brother's already been down, which we're going to get to here momentarily. He's already been down. What's going to happen is when we start to do the tile and whatever day that is, we're going to start putting it in on the opposite side of the bathroom where the toilet is.
Mm-hmm.
Call him and say, we're starting the tile. Come on down. He's going to come down and take care of like around the toilet.
Right.
But the reason he was down was,
I guess, air
conditioners humming. Yeah, babe.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Yeah, I obviously talked about it before, the fire that he had across the alley from his place. He's kind of dealt with it. He just has like the door. The only thing that's there from the fence is the door. Everything else is just melted. And it's a whole investigation. It's a whole mishigosh. And when I saw him on Friday, I mentioned it to him. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll be down on Monday. I'm working that way. I'll just come over. I have a whole bunch. I'll charge you up and you guys will be good. And then I'll just have to, come and charge you every year. I'm like, cool, awesome, great. He goes, I've got, enough. He goes, today, I've got enough to last you guys for the next 6 years.
Right.
But
so
even
start saving
still,
up.
Right. Even still, I'm trying to like ration it, even though it's only been on for like 2 days. I'm still trying to ration the air.
You're like Furiosa with water out in the desert.
I was going to say like President Scroob with air, like actual air and Spaceballs, but all right.
Okay.
So that's what's going on here. Home repairs, like no big vacation this year, but big redo on the bathroom, right?
But didn't you already have a big vacation this year?
Summer vacation. How about that?
Fair enough. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
2024 was the year of those cruises.
Yeah, it feels like a million years ago.
I know, but it wasn't that long ago.
It was as we record this 3 months ago. We were getting home from it.
Oh, it's still 2024.
Yeah, I know. It feels like forever ago.
Right.
And I got to have a burger this weekend. I went out and got a burger. It was delicious. I was very happy.
Where'd you get it from?
We went to Texas Roadhouse again. I was trying to figure out a way because like Asa was here and he had a friend over. Like, where can we go? They don't fuck up my burger of all the time. Like, and I've jinxed it by saying it loud like 15 times since Saturday. Mm-hmm. That of all the times that we've gone there and I say no cheese, they don't put cheese on it and they never fuck it up. But by saying it, I've jinxed it. So the next time we go, whenever that is, they're gonna fuck it up. Yeah.
That would be terrible. You know what? I really want to go with you. So when they fuck it up, I could just get a to-go burger.
No to-go burger. I send it back and I say, make me a new one.
Right, but since that one is just going to go to waste, that's my free burger.
That's between you and them. That's not between. I ain't paying for that burger.
I'm sure they'll go with it. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. I know they do that at fast food places when they fuck up my burger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go there and I'll say no cheese, and they'll give me the thing and it has cheese, and I'm like, no cheese. Give me another one. They're like, well, we can't take this one back, so you keep that one. I'm like, I don't want this one. I go, I'm just going to throw it in your garbage. I go, make me.
They Mitch Hedberg'd you. Here, you throw this away.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, that's it. And then we have and then it's just, as we've discussed, it's just a very busy. Oh, and that reminds me of something else I got to talk to you about off mic. Ugh. Yeah, you don't want to listen. You don't want to get into the financials of all this shit, right?
Right.
So, last but not least, speaking of financials, speaking of the Patreon, if you listened to, was it Man Thing that we did? Where Todd ended up adding like 8 movies to the list.
I believe it was Man Thing, and I believe it was way more. But anyway,
it was a bunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the YouTube channels I watch, because I don't watch real TV no more much anyway. Channel I watch is called Secret Galaxy. He does these little 15, 20-minute videos every week. in regards to like different pop culture. Like a lot of times movies or cartoons or like whatever weird things. Like a couple months ago, he did one on Mac Tonight, the McDonald's mascot.
I vaguely remember that.
He did another one on the Todd McFarlane's Spawn animated series.
That I remember.
Okay. And then like he did one recently on like Power Rangers Zeo, right?
That's not in my purview, but go ahead. Okay.
So then just this week, he did one on something that I had no idea existed, and it was the it was the 94-95, 5-day-a-week animated series, Phantom 2040.
That I remember.
Okay. So he's going over it, and he says it didn't, like all the reasons why it didn't work and everything else like that. But it had like an Eon Flux style animation style, which I thought was like pretty cool and ambitious for what was essentially a cartoon for babies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, is this something? I'm like, no, we don't put cartoons on the list. And I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, yeah, we have the Phantom on. They're the 1996 Billy Zane Phantom movie. We're good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Todd, did you know there was another Phantom movie?
I vaguely remember it.
Todd, look in your direct messages there. Did you know there was a sci-fi original 2-movie Phantom reboot in the late 2000s?
You know what? Now that I see it, I vaguely remember it because I think you know as well as I do. Our retailer is like one of the biggest Phantom fans in the world.
Barely cracks the top 5, but I get you.
And I remember him vaguely looking at this with disdain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we ever saw it, but it looks like a CW Arrow character.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't remember it. I do, but yeah.
So I made the executive decision to add it to the list,
mm-hmm.
with the caveat that if we land on it. See, because what sci-fi, like I said, what sci-fi did was it was supposed to be a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
It aired as a TV show in Canada first.
Right.
It kind of sort of didn't get picked up past whatever the 6 or 8 episodes that they filmed were.
Right.
So Sci-Fi picked it up and did it as 2 movies.
Right.
But it's essentially 3 episodes of a TV show and 3 episodes of a TV show.
Right.
So if we land on Phantom 2009, we're not going to watch the full 3 hours plus. We're going to watch part 1, and then the following month we're going to watch part 2.
Following month, okay. We're not doing it like the Hulk or anything like that.
So the reason we're not going to do it like the Hulk is because the Hulk ones didn't air like literally back to back. Like okay. It wasn't like a 2-night movie event.
Right. That sounds fair.
Okay.
That sounds fair. And I would like to bring something into the realm of talking about. We put a lot of things on the list that like weren't streaming, like definitely, but you have them in your physical collection, and I have them in my physical collection.
Right, and that's or they're streaming on Tubi, right?
Right. So I would like to bring back the Legends of the Superhero live action ones and put them on the list. Because I'm 99% sure one of us has a physical copy of that. Or you could check your file where you have all your digital stuff or physical stuff filed.
Now, see, we did this before, and I remember doing this with the Aquaman thing, and I couldn't find the Aquaman.
Okay, I thought we found this. I don't know.
But then you brought it up again, and I did it again, and I found Aquaman. So Aquaman ended up getting put back on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it called, now there's the challenge and the roast of the Super Friends, right?
Yes. I think it's called
Right. See, because it's on DVD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the animated one. But so the animated one, what's the live action one called?
The live action one was literally called Legends of the Superheroes. I know.
Legends of the Superheroes is what it was called.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was called The Legends of the Superheroes, and then there was one episode called The Challenge and one episode called The Roast.
Okay. Now let me see here.
Right.
Okay. Let's say I have it in my collection.
Okay, good.
The file that I have is both of the hours jammed together.
Okay.
So if we landed on this, would we watch both?
We could, or we could. I mean, it's not like we if we started your physical copy, we had to watch both. We could stop, because I remember this. I watched this. This has an opening credits, the bit, and then the end credits. So if there was both and they were jammed together, that's the way it's going to be. I don't feel that they're going to put credits on the front and credits on the back and not do it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Does that make any sense? I'm babbling.
It does.
It's because I like to name drop too. I just got a text from Skinny Jeans, which is nice. So.
Oh, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Yeah, name dropping. Pick it up.
Yeah. So let's add Legends of the Superheroes to the thing.
I so wanted that on the list. So cool.
Legends of the Superheroes. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Check your messages there too.
Okay. I don't want to. Yeah, baby. I'm afraid to hit it. I'm afraid. Oh, Joe, you don't know how. Oh, I grew up on that. So
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Can't wait to get to the Ed McMahon bit. So.
Dun, 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 dun. Now, was there any other things like that?
No, but I did see, because Joe, I don't know if you know this, I forget stuff a lot.
Yeah.
The list that you resent me, didn't we have a Sable TV show that was on YouTube on that?
I think we talked about it.
Right, and I forget what we talk about.
But wasn't it one of those ones where it was like only one episode was available and it was broken up into like 7-minute chunks?
Yes, it was on YouTube.
Right.
And I forgot if it was because we said we couldn't find all the parts for the plot pilot, or if it was because it was busted up on YouTube in 7-minute chunks. That's all.
That's right. That's what it was. It claimed that it was the pilot, but it was. Yeah, so it was like the pilot. I think I didn't get a chance to look at everything, but it was broken up, like I said, into like 9 to 10-minute chunks.
Right. Okay, that's what I was
the first. Yeah, and again, because like looking at it, it has like, okay, here's the pilot broken up into 5 parts. Mm-hmm. Here's episode 2 broken up into 5 parts. Right. Here's an unnumbered episode broken up into 5 parts. Here's episode 4, another unnumbered episode, and then like a bunch of unnumbered episodes.
Right. If we were going to do it, it was just going to be the pilot anyway. But yeah, that's fine.
I don't like watching those ones that are broken up like that in the separate YouTube things, because it's like more of a pain in the ass than anything else, really.
Gotcha. That's all. I was worried that you were going to put the forbidden movie that I have on my list that I won't tell you about. So I thought it was going to be a real disgusting graphic movie. But
well, did we get the better version of that to watch for this month? The Cemetery, not Cemetery Man, but the other one, the
Dylan Dog.
Dylan Dog, yeah.
No, this is something completely different. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm leaving it out there. I know I shouldn't even mention it, but it's.
I don't know why you do these things to yourself.
I do them because they're funny to me, and then I have to figure out how I'm going to wiggle out of it later.
Because I know there's a couple.
But it's the Phantom, so we're good with that.
Yeah, well, Phantom we added. Did I add it here? Okay, no. Phantom, and then Legend of the Superheroes.
Right.
Phantom 2009. Legends of the Superheroes. Okay. So everything's updated.
Right. So now, because we were talking about the Phantom, we're going to do it 2 months in a row if we land on shitty Phantom. What if the first one is so bad? Could we call an audible and go, we're not watching the second one? You know what I mean? Not so bad.
Yes.
What if it's one of those that you're like, oh, okay, we can't get any more mileage out of this? I'd like to leave our options open.
We could do a refusal, I guess.
Right, that's what we need. We need some opt-outs. I heard, like on the Wheel of Rock.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, no opt-outs on the Wheel of Rock. Everything goes on and everything gets watched.
Okay. But interesting. So is there anything else?
No, I think we're good. I think that's everything. I think that clears up, what we had, what we've done, and what we have going forward. If you haven't signed up for the Patreon, patreon.com/Longbox Heroes, go sign up, go listen to all these movies and everything else and previewing the past and all that sort of jazz,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for listening. This was whatever number of After Dark this is, 498. See you guys all next week.
You're listening to the soon-to-be named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.